But dude, yeah, Japan. Why did I like Japan? That's a good question. I think it was cool. The food, unbelievable. I ate so much. Like it was like you're eating fish, fresh fish, and
Oh,
rice.
dude, yeah.
It's like, dude, the sashimi and the
You
nigiri.
feel so good too. Like
Oh
those are
my
like
God,
the best foods for inflammation. So you're gonna
right?
feel incredible.
Zero
Yeah.
inflammation. The tuna is like so fucking good. I learned how to use chopsticks. Now I'm not an idiot when it comes to using chopsticks. Dude, I bought these. Let me show you these knives. I bought these two fucking knives. I spent $500 on two knives. So let me.
Why? My brother does that. I'm like, why do you have all these knives? He does the exact same thing. He has like a knife collection. I'm like, dude, you can only use one, and you're not going to kill anybody with it. Chandler has a clock in the background that says 420, and I think he has a weed plant too.
All right, here
Is
we
that a
go.
weed plant in the background?
No, it's a money tree.
What's the 420 for?
The 420 is for the clock. I don't know. I didn't know.
It's just
I
telling
didn't
the
put
time.
batteries. So I didn't put batteries in the clock, and I was like, "Well, what's a fucking good time to put in there?"
There you go. All right.
Put it for
So
59.
Chandler just got back from Japan. He's going to show us his knife collection now.
Yeah. So now I'm a knife collector. So this one, it's
That,
like 200
that, that
bucks.
actually is pretty sick.
It's pretty sick. It's very sharp.
You got to. I could just see myself cutting like a giant steak with that and feeling like a barbarian.
Dude, I have yet to make a steak yet because I haven't gone to the grocery store or haven't ordered groceries, but I'm excited. And then I got this one, which is a little guy. But
A little stabbing knife.
yeah, this
You can
one's
carry
for
that with you.
yeah. So, dude, they're both super nice, super sharp. I don't know. Figured might as well fucking buy some knives of him in Japan because that's kind of I feel like that's what they're known for a little bit. Sushi and
So what were
knives.
your insights? What were your insights that you got from being in the powder and being in the Japan mountains for 2 weeks?
Yeah,
What did you come back with?
I came back. I thought a lot about AI. I really think that I've been going deep in the rabbit hole of AI, which is not great for mental sanity because you feel like the
Mhm.
world's ending. Basically, is kind of what I've come to. But I, dude, fuck. I was talking to my dad about this too, and he has a similar opinion. But basically, so Elon Musk said the average cost of a service to produce a service or for last year was $38 an hour. Was like the rough cost of production. And so he says that if AI once AI is fully rolled out, this is like probably like 5 years away when he has the robots and all this kind of shit working. He thinks the cost of service will be $2 an hour, is what he thinks it will cost. So
So like for plumbing and like an electrician, you could have a robot electrician come to your house.
yeah,
I don't
plumbing
believe it.
and like those are going to be further away. But yeah, what he did was he stopped all production on Model X and Model S's for Tesla, and basically is now putting Optimus, the robot, in full production because he's like, I don't have time to build a new factory for just this robot. I have to start doing it now. Um,
I could
which is
see it working for that. I could see it working for something like manufacturing because honestly, you just need a dialed in robot for manufacturing. But for something like plumbing or electrical work or
it's gonna take
anything
more
like
time.
that, yeah. And I sent something to my students in the WhatsApp group. Matt Ryder and Cole Gordon were talking about how AI is going to affect the sales world. So,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on AI replacing salespeople?
Dude, it's okay. So right now, it's hard to believe. Like, it's hard to believe that AI could replace salespeople. And this is my opinion. Right now, it's hard to like imagine like a world where that would be the case. But then I just took the concept of like, okay, I watched my fucking Tesla go from being a lemon to being able to fucking drive itself and park in my garage, and
Mhm.
just over like a course of a year, going from straight retarded to fucking able to drive and park in the garage. Um, and that's kind of hard to really wrap your head around. But once AI is kind of gets to that point, which that we're not there yet, where AI is better than humans on average, or like can learn without humans. Um, a lot of people think we're like a year away from that. I don't know. anyways, but my point is like once we get there and there's like all these other, if you have like the robots, you have all this stuff. If it's better, like the car is 9 times safer than a normal human driving a car. That's the statistic based on crashes per mile. And so if AI does the same thing, then what will happen is like the car is not a better driver than like the top like 5% of people, but the car's a better driver than fucking 95% of people. And I think it's going to just kind of roll out in all other facets of the world. Whereas like the top chunk of people will still be fucking doing just fine or better than they were in the past, I'm sure. But if you're not that top chunk of people, I think you're going to be cooked.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know exactly how that plays out in the sales world. I don't know I think people are going to crave human engagement, which companies might opt for real humans at that point. But then also, like I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? I haven't thought about the sales specific one.
So I'll tell you what they were talking about. So none of these words are direct. These are not my own original thoughts, but I could see exactly why what they said is legitimate. So they were talking about number one, compliance, right? So the first thing is if you have AIs that are able to make sales calls, what will happen is now your entire CRM can be called every single day and be followed up with. And so now you're going to have just way more outbound dials in general.
Yep.
Right. And then think about that's fine. But what about all the other companies? Think about everything you've ever opted into, where the reason you're not getting a ton of calls from those opt ins is because they don't have a big enough sales team that can just run through them. But you could have hundreds of AIs for free. You don't have to pay for them. And they could dial thousands of dials a day. And so then you're going to start getting over spammed. Right. And if that happens, it's already started to happen with all the telecommunicators, communication companies, is people are spamming people so much that they're like, okay, let's start blocking numbers. Let's start stopping numbers from going through. Let's put in more regulation around it. And so that's the first thing that I think would happen. The other thing is they have to protect the consumer from scams. And an AI could be the most efficient scammer possible, right? They could train an AI to scam people really, really well. And so I think that with those things, there's going to be a requirement, sort of like there are requirements right now from real estate agents to say, hey, I'm a licensed agent. There's going to be a requirement for the AI to say, hey, this is John. I'm the AI. I'm AI John. And immediately you have to acknowledge that you are AI. And I think for some businesses, that's going to be okay. So if I wanted to, let's say, for example, software, I want to go test out a new demo for a software. I would be 100% okay with hopping on with an AI bot that knows how to do it, that has a face and could talk to me and knows the program better than everyone else. Like it knows the program like a developer would. I would be completely cool with that. And also think about the type of transaction that is. It's very B2B. However,
also, it's like, it arguably could be better than like a real human.
Oh, it would be. Technically, I mean, it would be. It would know more about the technical aspects that a salesperson wouldn't know.
Yep.
And so I would be okay with that. And on like an inbound Zoom call, I think you could replace a human with an AI pretty quickly. I think you could do it right now. The part where I do not feel like we're really far removed from is an AI being able to call a blue collar worker, and the blue collar worker is like, yeah, I'm cool with talking AI. Think about all like the 20, 30-year-old plumbers and electricians, and think about homeowners that live in the Midwest. It's like a generation away from where they want to talk to an AI more than they would want to talk to a human. Right now, if you called any of those people, like any homeowner, and you said, hey, this is an AI, boop, click right away. Right. Yeah. And so a lot of that was some of the things that Matt and Cole were talking about. And I agree with that part. I think the things that are going to be hard is selling to the older generation. I think they're going to have to be completely phased out, which is going to be 20 years away. I think the compliance is a big part. So I think if you have a skill set like sales talking to homeowners, or you're selling to
Anyone.
landscapers and freaking people like that actually want a human connection. Yeah, 100%. Like car salespeople, you're probably going to want to talk to a real human over an AI. And then that's also another component, which is like the cars. When you go to a car lot, there's not going to be robots sitting in the parking lot for a while, talking to you about all the different things, and that's pretty far removed. So
I agree.
I think that salespeople right now are safe. And unless you're a low skilled salesperson, like an appointment setter for a dental office, like,
or receptionist,
hey, what's your name, what's your social security number, or maybe not social, I don't know, whatever they need for like your dental appointment, and then they just book it. Like, yeah, you could just do that automated, but we're really far away from that happening for an actual sales conversation where they need a connection with someone.
I agree. If they don't, I do agree. If they have to regulate and explain that I'm an AI, I agree with you. I think that's the big question, is like, what's the regulation going to come? Because that's what I've been thinking about too. I'm like, dude, there's no way, because this is the real thing that's interesting to me, that I think about, like the biggest. I've been trying to think about the biggest picture and how that could affect like myself, basically. And the biggest picture is like, let's say that AI really does start to like do everything and better than humans. Like that's probably pretty safe to assume that that's going to happen in the next couple of years, 3 years. And then companies just decide to fire like half their staff or 30% of their staff, that they don't need the back office people. The salespeople, even in big companies, it's like a very small percentage of the team. So it's like, let's say they fire like 50% of people. That's what starts happening in these big companies. Like, it's already starting to happen and like trend that direction. If that does happen, then so many people make so much less money that then the U.S. government is going to get paid. Like, again, it's not the people who are in the most danger are like the white collar people making, 60.
It's like your analysts that are making 60 to 120 grand a year. Yeah,
exactly. It's like
dude, your analyst jobs are wiped out, bro. Paralegals, dude, it's wiped out.
You're so fucked. You're fucked. But what I'm saying is like, that's a big portion of the tax revenue for the government. That's a big portion of like the economic spending, like consumer spending. And so like, let's say like, it's like, let's say that happens worldwide, and like even just from a government perspective, like most governments other than maybe like China and Singapore are like up to their fucking neck and then more in debt. And so like, what happens if like these people, like every country defaults on like all their debt? It's like the world could like implode. So I kind of feel like there's incentive for the governments to actually regulate and prevent AI from taking over more than as much as we think. Like, I don't think it's just going to be this like free realm, because then like, if AI does take over, half the workforce is unemployed, unemployment's 20, 30, 40, 50%. UBI is basically mandatory. The cost of goods are going to go down.
Nah, bro. Okay, like,
it's going to be interesting. I'm saying, but so I feel like there's going to be regulation to either prevent that, or it's going to fully go there. Like, it's going to be a weird situation.
No, they're just going to have new jobs. It's like the Industrial Revolution. They just had different types of jobs. So there's going to be more people that are going to need to work in power. There's going to be more, like power plants, for example, are going to grow. There's going to be more people that are going to need to work on. There's just going to be more tech jobs in general, because AI still needs to be managed. I think one of the jobs that's going to explode is any sort of IT around AI. Because if they're implementing all these AI jobs, they're going to have an IT person. And so, dude, I'll tell you, if I lived in a developing country and I was 18 years old, that's all I would be doing, because I know it's coming. And that's what companies need, is every company right now needs an IT person that can help implement AI into their business and manage it, make sure things aren't breaking, replace employees. Like, think about how big that job space is going to be, is AI employees that do things like admin task. And dude, especially I was thinking about how silly any sort of job that reviews documents or reviews data and corrects them. Like, dude, that's gone. AI can replace that right now. And so like those sort of things. Yeah, ad optimization. Somebody said the company I work for does PPC. Just started cold call. Oh, I thought they was talking about AI. No, he just completely completely different question. But we're on the topic of AI right now. I'll tell you what I see is a huge red flag, not for like end of the world world ending, but just what I see the most common mistakes that wholesalers are making right now is they are spending so much time trying to figure out how to make AI optimize their business when they don't really need it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got all these students that are like, how do you use AI for this? How do you use AI for that? Having these assistants and things like that. It's like, bro, just call your leads faster and close them better. And then like, I'll tell you the things that we are using AI for is AI call summaries, fantastic. Sending you reports on lead scoring, on rep scoring, pattern recognition on sales calls, does all those things great. But everything else that people like, I see all these people trying to do all these other random things with AI, and it's like, dude, they're just wasting their time. Just wait till somebody actually does it and it works, and then they're gonna sell it as a service.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you on the for wholesaling for the most part. Like the one thing
Disagree with me, bro.
I agree with you for parts of it. The thing I don't agree with you on, that I 100% I don't think I agree with you on, is the number of new jobs it's going to create. I don't think will be nearly the amount that it would take away.
Replace.
Yeah, I think like there will be new jobs, but also think about a bell curve. Bro, you've been to a place where you see the general bell curve. Like,
Yeah.
most of those people aren't going to be able to teach AI how to do jack shit. AI is going to be better at teaching AI how to do it than they are, in my opinion. I could be wrong on that, and I would listen to someone else's opinion. But
well, I think you're right. I agree with that. All of those things I feel like are in at a macro level could be concerning, but also people running wholesaling businesses doing a couple $1 million a year should not be focusing that macro right now. Cause I think that there's other things that you could be playing chicken little with that would be bigger concerns, meaning like eventually what's that?
Like maybe like regulation in your market, depending.
Oh, dude, regulation's going to kill more wholesalers than AI for sure. The market shifting to like all it would take to kill all wholesalers is Zillow to stop selling to agents and just start being the wholesaler. So it's like request your cash offer. They have cash buyers that are bidding against it. Sunday almost had this cracked. I think that they just overhired and overstaffed, and they bought some properties bad, but they almost had that cracked with a marketplace where you could just put your property up and people will bid it up. They were going the right direction with that, and I think I think people are going to want to talk to people less and want things to be easier, because talking to people is annoying, bro. Like you have to get a call every single week. Hey, let's open up the house. Let's show the house. Let's do this. Where eventually AI is going to send a text saying there's investors coming through at this time. These are their names. You just have to have the door opened. AI can make those calls, and they can make it really easy. But dude, that's so far. I mean, it's not so far out, but it's one of those things like, okay, you're either going to go, all right, perfect, I'm going to create an AI company to do this, and I'm going to go raise a bunch of venture capital, or you're like, no, I'm going to make a bunch of money doing the thing that I do right now. But it's the people that are in the middle that I see getting fucked. And so what they're doing is they're not optimizing anything in their business because they're too focused on like, I need to implement AI, and they don't know why, but they just feel like they need, like, because all these ads are like, if you don't implement AI, you're going to go out of business tomorrow.
Well, I think if people implement AI like just blindly, you're creating, it's like creating a job for someone that's not there. But if you just take, like, let's say, I don't know, let's say for example, you're trying to get better at comping, and you create a tool that pulls like the 5 best comps that you can look at, and then you can run it into your formula and calculate it or whatever. Like that's like useful. That would be like a beneficial thing where it can give you that.
3 of those already. Here's the interesting part.
I feel like valuing is going to be tough, but if it pulled like comparables, that's pretty. I feel like that would be pretty easy to do. Like, pull me 3 bedrooms.
It does, but this is the interesting thing is, let's say you're a wholesaler in California, right? And so median house price, like SoCal, median house price is 800 to 1.2 million. AI will get you 90 to 95% there. But what's 5% of a million?
50 grand, brother.
And so what happens when you're 50 grand apart because you used an AI to comp? It's like 95% is not good enough in almost all things. Yeah. It's like that 5% advantage that actually gives you the leg up. Yeah. And so I've tried 3 different AI comping platforms, and they all got me 95% of the way there. And 95% is what will fuck your entire business. And so
but you don't think so? You don't think if you made a tool, and you could do this pretty fast in MLS? I guess that's a bad example. Never mind. Fuck this example because I don't agree with it, or I don't care.
Give me one, bro.
Let's do a better example. Let's do a better example.
I'm like the only anti-AI guy that exists because everybody. But the thing is, I've seen so many people trying to use it, and everybody is that's working 90%. And and the other 10% is what's causing them to crash.
Let's say you're right now, because this is something that I know you talk about lead scoring, but it's like, for me, actually, fuck this. Let's do TC, because I think that's the biggest one. That would be the biggest slip. If you have a lot of files under management right now, so you're dealing with 30, 40, 50 deals in escrow, I think it makes a lot of sense to look at how do I have AI do most of this work, as much of this paperwork or pencil pushing as possible, or coordinating access on novations, for example, where you have to just have a brief conversation with people to come in and find a time to go to the property, let the seller know, send them a text, whatever. Like those kind of things I feel like are super useful. I don't think you're going to have AI do wholesaling anytime soon, because you got to talk to people, and that's just not going to work, and they're not going to flip houses yet.
No, but like AI assistants. So like, for example, like an AI assistant that listens to your pipeline review and takes notes and says, okay, I'm going to text this person. I'm going to follow up with this person. Like, yeah, for sure. It would assist you
or
in like doing your job.
Automatically taking a sales transcript, running it through your protocol, it alerting, hey, this is what I noticed over the last, few sales calls with this guy. It's fucking good at that. It's really good at mass data analysis.
Pattern recognition too. Yeah. It's you're right. Pattern recognition is better than human. So like, we are using it for that. We're using it it can also give really good coaching feedback on sales calls. So we just launched our AI role play, and I'm not going to say who, like, obviously we have a competitor that's pretty big, but we just decided that we're going to make it super cheap, because why not? So instead of charging, a couple $1,000, we just charge $200 a month for it. And it can audit all of your calls, and then you can upload a call and role play with it. And so it's really good for that. So it's like, okay, I'm going to upload this call. I want you to be this seller, and I'm going to role play how to handle this objection. That it's really, really good for, because it's really hard to be a role play partner unless I sat there and listened to the entire call and I was like, okay, now I'm going to try to be this role play partner. That's difficult. Analyzing, like, you can give it a lot of coaching feedback, and you can give it a bunch of calls. Like, one of the things we did with our AI role play is we gave it my closed deals. And so it can hear why I close deals and all of the things that I do to make sure a deal gets closed. And then it also can follow any sort of pattern recognition with the process to see how off process they're going. And then it'll grade the reps based off of those things. And it will say, this is why you didn't close.
I bet it can also find and evolve the process too. Because like, hey, like John does this really well, but then Blake does this shit really well. And like, here's all some, like, a tool. Like, I bet if you asked it after feeding it thousands of sales calls, you say, hey, like, what's like 5 things that maybe we don't have in our process that we could look at adding that help us close more deals and capture extra deals? And I bet it would give you a list of 5 things. You're like, fuck, dude. Like, one of those would be like, that's fucking good.
I'm definitely not doing that right after we get off this call.
Dude,
No,
I
that's a
did.
good idea because I have probably 1,000 real live sales calls of closes and uncloses from both my CRM and my students that have submitted calls.
Yep.
And so I could, yeah, that's a really good idea. Just
What you
upload
should
all
do.
of them.
This is what I would do. I've been fucking around with AI. This is. I basically asked him like,
I could
okay,
tell.
so
Got an AI boner.
I got that, dude. I'm fucking pushing my desk up right now, bro. Um, so basically, just say like what you want to do when you prompt AI is like tell it the problem you're trying to solve and what resources you have to work with, and then be like, make me a prompt that will basically give me the best outcome, essentially. So it's like I have 1,000
Yeah.
sales calls. Some are great, some are less good, some are bad. I'm trying to figure out what's the best things I can do to close more deals with my current sales process that maybe I'm not doing. So here's my current sales process. Give it like your script. Here's a current call that matches my sales process. And that's like what I want you to take of like what I do right now. Then I want you to
Yeah.
compare it to all of this shit. And then I want you to like, that's what I'm trying to compare it to. So give me a prompt to feed you or whatever you're trying to feed it to. And tell me what to upload and what questions you need. And then it'll create the prompt. You give it the info you need or a request basically, and then upload all the data. And then boom,
That's easy too. Yeah. And so I think like when I say I'm anti AI, maybe one day, like I could see myself in 10 years being like, oh, cool. Look, these are all the things. Or making a video in even a couple months being like, these are all the ways that we're using AI. But it's very good for supplemental things right now in the wholesaling business. I think it would be great for following up with your leads. I have a buddy, Kai, who built out a Go High Level, basically like it's all around AI and Go High Level. And it will text your leads, warm them up. It'll actually have conversations with them via text and book appointments. I think that's super helpful.
Yeah,
I think that's something that AI can do right away. I think
or it can build your website and make SEO content to help you rank. Like if you're not doing that shit, like you should be doing that, you know?
Yeah, that's easy. Like I was just looking at all my keywords, and I was uploading keywords for my Google ads and getting better ideas for keywords to target 100%, like all those things. Like when I say like, I mean, I use AI every day. Yeah. And so I'm not
you're anti being making your business AI and like that's all you focus on, which I think is
yeah. I think here's what my issue is right now is that people are trying to make things work and wasting their time when they could be working on things that actually would work in their business. Meaning, their lead to qualified is, 86%, or sorry, 56%, like somebody said earlier. And they're like, okay, well, we need to implement all this AI stuff to be able to fix that. I was like, or you call your leads in 3 minutes and then you call them 14 times in the first 7 days. Oh, ooh, what if you did that? and then when you talk to them,
actually,
and then what if when you talk to them, you actually like knew a process to be able to close them? Whoa.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, no, we need to have the AI. The AI has to submit every single call to the sales manager, and the sales manager needs to review every single call. I'm like, or you just go through the summaries and see which ones they need to work on, and you train on that the next day. Yeah. And then you call the lead with the rep and help them close it. You know what I mean? Like I think that's like what people are trying to figure out shit and like reinvent the wheel. And I think there should be people doing that, but not the business owners. There should be nerds like you that are creating that stuff for wholesalers that understand their problems. And then once it's ready and it actually works, you should sell it to wholesalers. And if you have a struggling wholesaling business, maybe do that. But like if you have a good wholesaling business that's working, like let someone else solve that problem and then implement it.
Before you're fucked from AI, there's gonna be people like selling like
for sure.
There's already like just since like Open Call came out, I've seen like 5 or 6 people post about like some AI product they have for wholesalers.
Yeah,
random like
exactly. There's going to be people now. Most of them aren't going to work right away.
Yeah.
And so I will let everybody else kind of get shot in the back and mess it up, and then I'm going to wait until I have a student that absolutely crushes it. I'm going to go, oh, cool, it's working now. Perfect. I'm going to implement it. And I didn't waste any time messing with it and trying to develop it, because people underestimate how much work it takes to get something to 100%. Like you can get something to 90% pretty quick, but getting something to 100% and working without any errors, like that's a different level.
Yeah. And that's what separates people who get, good results versus like people who get exceptional results. Like even just like, I was even going through and like looking at like, we audited every single ad we ran over the last 30 days and like every single ad performance, every actor, every script, all that stuff. And do we only like, when we ranked it into a green, yellow, and red bucket, we spent 60% of all money in the green bucket. And that's just, we're like, fuck, like our average cost per lead was $77.71. But if we would have put all of our money in the green bucket, it would have been $60.96. So it's like, that's a fucking huge decrease in cost.
Yeah.
Just by knowing that data. But then it's like, okay, well, now we can take those best 5 actors and 5 ads, or is more than 5 ads, but like those different scripts and those different actors, we can copy it all over all of them, and then over the fringe ones, test it again, and then eventually we'll be at like 80 to 90% in green, and then our average client cost per lead will be like 55, 60.
No, that's a completely normal. Like also, you're supervising the entire thing. You're not like, hey, I developed this AI software to be able to optimize all my ads and run them for me, and it creates scripts.
But I am actually going to build an AI that scrapes all that data and does it in the background every single time and just sends us a report at the first of every month. Like that's not hard to do.
Scrapes the data is fine. Yeah. But I'm talking about like what people are trying to build out right now is like, oh, this thing will write your ads and then it will send it to HeyGen and give it to the actors and then edit it and then it will optimize it. And you just sit back and you just go to the beach. And so like you're using it for optimization, which I 100% agree with.
Yeah. I think in your case, I agree. I think that you shouldn't jump to that. You got to jump to like using it to leverage making more money. Bro, if you look at, I've been looking more into like going deeper and like trying to figure out what stocks I want to buy right now. And Nvidia, dude, last year, their profitability month over month went from like 40% at the beginning of the year in Q1 to Q4. They were like 63% net profit on like fucking $50 billion in revenue.
How?
They probably just implement a lot more AI. Like they're probably just, they're just getting more efficient and more effective. I don't know. I don't know the exact reason behind why they did it, but understand, like looking at that, I'm like, that's fucking crazy. But they're just looking at getting better. Maybe I should ask AI how they did it.
Yeah, there's also, I think there's a difference between, low size, like under $5 million a year business owners, and then running the largest tech company in the world. You know what I mean? Like they have a bunch of people just dedicated to that. If the top employees at NVIDIA came in and talked about the problems that we're dealing with, they would go, oh yeah, I could solve that in probably a couple of days. Where for most people that don't have any technical background, there are limited technical background, they're going to spend weeks, maybe even months all day trying to figure this out, where there's and like, dude, while that's happening, NVIDIA is still running, bro, while all these other people, like with the billions of dollars that they have in profit, they're paying people just to focus on that. And like I guarantee you, the top wholesalers in the country are not spending all of their entire team's resources figuring out how to automate everything with AI. They might have an employee or two like trying to get ahead of it, but they have everything else running. So my whole point, because of the people that we're speaking to, right? If we're talking about running billion-dollar companies, I don't know. I've never run.
I don't know anything about running a billion-dollar company either.
So I'm sure they're doing stuff that is increasing their profit. I'm not saying it doesn't work for everybody. Yeah. My whole point is for the people that are running, low 7 figures or even low 6-figure wholesaling businesses, to be spending all their time on that when they only have limited resources and there's a million other things they could be doing. That's where I see people wasting their time.
Yes.
And so, do you want to answer questions in the chat, by the way? They have a bunch of them.
We should probably take care of the chat, dude. They treat us well.
Yeah, let's go to the chat. So advice on outgrowing scripts. Does your school community have resources on improving with my sales craft? So I'm assuming that's for me because it's sales. Yes, that's what the school community is for. I'll tell you, when you say outgrowing scripts, there's kind of a 3-part process that I've been training on more recently, which is process, tone, implementation. So the first thing is you get the overall scripting down, right? You're like, okay, I know what questions to ask. I know how to stay on my process, connection, situation, problem, impact. Then you need to figure out how to ask the questions the right way so they actually land. And lastly is the implementation. And so the implementation part is what happens when they respond with something that you don't know how to answer, or you respond with something that's outside of script. So like, for example, the script might say, what caused you to look into this further? And you would think the normal response would be, oh, because you guys buy houses quickly. Well, some sellers will respond with, I don't know what I saw online. I just want an offer. What's your offer? The implementation part would be knowing how to handle that. And so like, as you advance in our training, we go from just teaching you a script, from teaching you tonality to implementation. And at the higher end, it's basically all just implementation of what exact word tracks do you need to be able to execute on a high level. Let's see. I live in Missouri. Yeah, Missouri people probably won't like AI. Company I work for does PPC and just started cold calling. Our PPC new lead to qualify is 56. My 6th cold call would lead. We just locked up a 6-figure novation. Awesome.
Nice.
You want to answer Emmanuel's question? So I don't know if that's a question. You just said I'm running AI.
Results aren't too bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. Emmanuel, if you have a question, you can answer it.
I think he's saying that he's using AI actors. What are your thoughts about AI actors versus real actors?
Dude, I think that if they're really good, they're close.
Really good AI or really good? What do you mean? Like really good AI actor does a okay job.
Good AI actor is close to. I actually just looked at all the data on this. I had 2 AIs make it in the top 5 of my good ads. So 3 of the 5 were real people. 2 of the 5 were AI. And then of my yellow, which were like, they were like fringe, they're like borderline, like they're kind of between, like they're the ones that between like they're like the 80 to like the $80 range cost per lead, which is like not quite green, but not quite bad. It's like right at baseline. And so they all use the different scripts. So basically what I'm gonna do is split test all those people with different scripts. But those are 4 of those, and those are all AIs. So
it works.
But so it works is my point. So yeah.
But would it work better than, like, if you had a really good spokesperson, would it work better than the really good spokesperson?
So the really good, so I will say, so out of this, when I stack ranked all the actors, my 2 best actors were real actors. My 3rd and 4th were AI. My 5th was a real person. 6, 7, 8, 9 were AIs.
It's like pretty mixed, yeah.
But I also had a couple actors that were like 10, 11, 12 as well, where they're like kind of in that shit range, if that makes sense.
So AI performs better than a shitty person, but maybe not better than your top actor.
If you have like I think if you have a really good actor, AI is probably not going to do better than them. I say probably just because, and this is only talking to seller marketing. It's not going to do better than them. However, if you have a really bad actor, it will do better than those. So
it's also way cheaper. It's way cheaper to get an AI. You can test way more creatives.
You pay $15, $20 a month, or 15 to $20 a video if you pay someone to film it, roughly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I mean, if you do the math on that, I mean, that starts to add up if you film 100 videos.
I thought it was more, so that's surprising. It was more back when we used to do it, so maybe they're lowering their prices to compete with AI.
They might be. I also might. I mean, I negotiate with every single one of them, obviously. Here's my PQ skills.
There you go. What do you do when a seller backs out 2 days before closing, doesn't answer any calls? Okay, step-by-step process for this. So Sergio said, what do you do when a seller backs out 2 days before closing, doesn't answer any calls anymore? It was a $14K assignment and buyer wants his 2,500 EMD back. This is something that AI can do. You can type up a demand letter that you don't need to hire an attorney for anymore, and you could just send them a demand letter as step 1. And then sometimes I get them just to talk. We call them from different numbers from there. If they do not answer those, we
I
send
usually
somebody out to the house. Do I what?
I think I'm lagging a little bit. Do you text them that, hey, we sent a demand letter to you, or just let them get the letter?
Yeah. We'll say go check your email or something like the and then you memo the property, because like I'm not a fan of just memoing properties just to screw people. Like if it's an sweet old lady and she changes her mind, she wants to stay in the house, I don't memo those. But if I'm like, dude, we have everything ready to go, we performed on exactly what you said you wanted, and now you're backing out, I'll go to bat for those. And so memo the property, and because a lot of times they do want to just sell it to somebody else, and so then that will come up. That would be the big things.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, dude, I got my.
I also think too, it's like another thing that has always worked well. If you, again, the hard part's getting them on the phone at that point. Definitely got to memo it and demand letter. And when you do talk to them, do you have a way that you speak with these people who basically fill out the face of the earth? Because I think a lot of people struggle with like saving deals like this.
Dude, I have a call recording. So Tanner just posted, and he said, for those wondering, I'm in John's advanced group. I've got a long way to go, but still been 100% worth it. Sales is my biggest constraint. Everybody always asks me to post my my sales calls for free for YouTube, but I'm like, dude, that's like, if you watch my sales calls, that's one of the best ways that you're going to get my content. So I keep that for my advanced students. I have a sales call where the seller, basically an agent came over the day after we signed a contract, and the agent said, ghost those wholesalers, we're going to list it. And they listed it and got an offer $40,000 higher, and they were under contract. And I was able to get the seller to work with us regardless. And so there's a couple of things that I'll do. Like the first thing I'll do is use an identity frame, and I'll say, hey, I know you're not the type of person to go against your word. And I know what your word was, that we were going to close this property as long as we did everything. So I don't feel like you're the type of person to do that. And a lot of times that alone will get them backtracking. They're like, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to do that. And so that's how I won her over. The second thing is, like, what's your biggest concern so far? What's the worst case scenario? What's your biggest fear coming up? And so they might need to get resold on other things, right? Like this lady specifically, she was just like, well, I'm super overwhelmed. I don't even know where I'm going to go. Nobody's really helped me find a place that I'm going to go. So it's like, okay, that's an easy problem to solve. So I'll find out why they want to back out. And then the third thing is just going through your objection handling process. Now, I have had sellers that like, oh, I'm just going to go with a higher offer. Like they get a higher offer after and they try to go with it. And so I'll take a different approach. I'll go mean then nice. And what I mean by that is I'll be like, all right, well, we're going to memo the property. They'll get super mad, and then I'll talk to them a little bit later. So like I've had a lot of sellers where I'm like, hey, you're not going to be able to sell it. We have an agreement. And then they shut down completely, right, at that point. And then I'll win them over later, because then they'll want to talk when they realize that they can't actually sell it.
Yep. It makes them angry sometimes, a lot of times at the beginning.
Yeah, like they're gonna like. I don't look at it when they get mad at the first point that I lost the deal. I'll take that back. I usually try to go the nice approach first and try to resell them. But if they're like just shut down, like, no, I'm not talking. I have a higher offer. I'm taking it. There's nothing you could do. I'll be like, okay, cool. I'm going to memo the property. You're not going to be able to sell it. And then they start talking to me again once I have the leg up. It's kind of like the Trump meme. That's like every other president. It was like Biden. It's like, let's negotiate. And then the terrorist is like, we're going to bomb you. It's like Obama, let's negotiate. The terrorist is like, we're going to bomb you. And then Trump, it's like, I'm going to bomb you. And they're like, let's negotiate. So, that's why everybody is like so afraid of Trump, because they know he's not going to fuck around. It's like, if he says he's going to bomb you immediately, they're like, no, please don't. Okay, we'll talk. Yeah. Somebody else asked, which tier membership should I invest? You could do whatever one you want, bro. So the only difference is one of the tiers, you get a coaching call with me. So you'll get to actually implement a little bit more. You'll get to practice it. The other one, there's no call with me. You'll just get all the recordings and you'll get to watch. So if you're, whatever one fits you better, bro. I think that was it. That was all the questions that we had. Did you see anything that you wanted to?
Oh, he goes, what do you do when seller backs out to? Oh, that's, sorry, fucking just asked that.
Yeah, that was the one we went through.
Yeah.
We actually got to all the
This guy is interested in the school community and wondering if the juice is worth the squeeze. You should definitely do it. The juice is definitely worth the squeeze. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Y'all are awesome,
dude. What do you think? What do you think about? And if you don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze, you can just listen to how John overcame those objections on the call and probably realize he knows more. So, what do you think? You asked me at the beginning of the call what I took away from Japan, and
yeah.
when you're that far away from everything, all you do is look at like fucking the news.
That's why I asked. I figured when you got back, you have like different insights. So I wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah. What do you think? So another insight. I've been thinking a lot about the world because I'm more so curious about like how does that affect us, and like
yeah.
And I definitely agree with you, right? Like keep doing what you're doing. Don't fucking stop doing what you're doing. Just make more money tomorrow, like today. Like that's at the end of the day, like just do what you got to do. You never know what's going to happen in the fucking future. But the other thing I think about is like if I know the future and I know the past and I understand that a little bit better, then I probably can like
make better decisions.
And not like fuck myself, or fuck myself less, or take advantage of this. And so like the big thing too that's like right now that's interesting, is the Iran situation. And like I think if you think about like investing or like the stock market or whatever, like I guess I took away what I took away was like I'm gonna fucking sell my house and go and rent an apartment. But it's not because I can't afford the payment. It's because I'm like, dude, like my house depreciated 10% year over year. The luxury market in Denver is taking an absolute shit. It's not going to get better. I'm not going to live here for another 10 years. So I'm going to fucking sell my house and go and rent somewhere. So that's like one thing that's like a complete side note. But like from like stocks and like that, like other investments, it's like looking at this, like the price of oil is fucking sky high. It's like $100 a barrel right now, or plus or minus. The people are getting bombed left and right. They just bombed that liquid natural gas factory, which is like 20% of the global supply of liquid natural gas, which is like that funds basically think of like liquid natural gas, which LNG for short, is like how oil is for cars. That's what it is for technology, essentially. Is
okay.
And so it's like basically depending on how bad the damage is. I don't know how bad that was because it was like 2 days ago. I don't think they reported it yet. That could really make an interesting buying opportunity for tech stocks right now if you're bullish on AI, if you think the war is going to be short. And so it's like, because right now tech stocks are just taking a fucking beating. And so like for me personally, I'm just buying more of them every day because I see it going down. And I think it's going to be, I personally think the war, I don't know if it's going to be long or short, but I don't think it's going to be, the impact's going to be very long. So I think it's just a good buying opportunity. So that's another thing I took away is that I'm like, I'm just going to rotate my money out of like real estate and investments in the real estate space for the money that like I have that I can't get back. That's not like syndications or whatnot. And then I'm just going to roll that back into tech, whether that's good or bad, who knows? And then also into crypto. I think Ethereum is going to do well.
Time will tell. I always, to me, crypto is interesting because it feels a lot like gambling. Like crypto only goes up when people feel like it should go up. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of mania. It goes up
a lot when people feel like they should go up. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I'm not saying that people don't. I mean, dude, it's so funny. You see these like 18 to 20-year-old kids that have made millions of dollars on meme coins. But also, you never see the graveyards too. The graveyards of people. So no, why crypto and tech? It's all inside trading. I don't know. I don't follow those. Like, I'm one of those people that's a little bit more heads down. Like you're more heads up, always looking at kind of 6, 12, 24, 36 months. And I'm more, I tend to be like, I'm very operator minded in the way that I'll look up 90 days and be like, okay, is anything going to mess with the business in 90 days? But I'm not like, all right, 10 years, what's going to happen? Because I feel like there's so many people that make big bets and they end up being wrong about 10 years. And the ones that are right, like freaking awesome. If that's your skill set, Warren Buffett, for example, like is really good at predicting what's going to happen 10 years ahead. I feel like it's a very unique mind. You're more that minded in the way that you'll do a bunch of research on what's going to happen. You come up with a conclusion, and you'll make one big bet.
I do tend to do
like
that
I'm
more often. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more operator. Like I am a hardcore operator mindset. I guess I have a hardcore operator mindset where I'm like, I can put my head down and then just like poke it up a couple of years later and be like, oh shit, what did I just do? You know what I mean? Holy shit, I've been working for 2 years, and like when I moved to Medellin, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna work and focus on work, and I don't have any distractions because I don't know a lot of people here.
Mm-hmm.
So Tanner asked about wholesaling regulations. Like it feels like it is tightening up. I think that's a good thing. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. That the regulations are going to continue to increase, and I think it's going to be a good thing. I think honestly, the more that they increase, the more people will get out of the industry, and it will make the people that actually know what they're doing and professional. They'll be able to stay around. They'll be able to thrive, and the ones that aren't, there needs to be something that gets out these freaking knuckleheads that are memoing properties, locking them up too high. There should be something like there should be some sort of financial barrier to wholesaling. I just don't think it should be a zero financial barrier game.
Yeah, I think one thing that would really change the game, and this would be, I don't know if this like actually is a good idea or not. It's fucking just came to my head. But if you had to put down like $5,000 or $10,000 earnest money, like if you just had, like, no matter what, if you just, that's just the way it works for your contract to be enforceable. You got to put down like 5 or 10 grand.
Yep, I would get behind that.
I think like that would definitely improve the quality of contracts across the industry, across the country.
Yeah.
Obviously you got due diligence and all this kind of stuff, but you know, if you're like, even just think of the companies, there's a lot of companies now that do like nationwide contract, 40 close 15,
yeah,
and
for
like,
sure.
if you're contracting that many, like you got to have and you got to do $5,000-$10,000 earnest money, bro. You got to have a lot of money out in earnest money.
Yeah,
you're going to either go like, you're going to be more thoughtful about what you're contracting, in my opinion.
At least a percentage, like it's $100,000 house. Okay, fine, $3,000. $1 million house would be $30,000. It would be because the stakes are higher, right? So I would say at least a percentage of the purchase price.
Yeah, like because it's 1% standard,
Yeah, that would just get rid of people that shouldn't be in the industry. Because there was somebody that I was talking to recently, and they're like, "Well, I don't have any money, so I'm going to go sub 2, and I'm just going to do a bunch of sub 2 deals." I'm like, "Okay, so you don't have any money, so you're going to take over someone else's mortgage payment that is in foreclosure." And what happens when the same thing that happened to them happens to you, right? Which is the tenant stop paying, or you have a vacancy for 3 months and you have zero cash because your cash flow is not going to cover that, And so you have to have some money to be able to own rental properties. So I think that'll be a big thing too. I think those are all good things. And at the end of the day, like there are a bunch of wholesaling companies that are doing $5 to $10 million a year, but most people just want a 100 to 500K a month business, and that's a completely different beast than running like a multi-million-dollar a month wholesaling business. And so, I think a lot of people are over hyping all of the regulations, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, the sky's falling." It's like, bro, if you get the business to $100,000 a month, you're flying under the radar anyway. Like nobody, they're not coming after you.
5 deals a month, bro. Like,
yeah,
you're not doing shit, really.
Yeah, nobody's coming after you.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It's kind of like
you're go ahead.
No, you're gonna be just fine.
Yeah,
we did have. What do you think about this? This is an interesting thought. Tanner said, "I feel like 10 years from now, people are going to be going hyper local. Seems to be a safer route with the regulations." I think, if anything, I actually agree. I think the opposite. I think people are going to go more national, because marketing costs are more and more expensive.
I've only seen 2 business models work out. I've seen hyper local, really dialed in like in-person sales teams, and
like rent.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll have other exit strategies. Not always. Like there's the company in California that they're also in Phoenix that they're two different companies, but they just wholesale. I think they have something that we don't know about, like some sort of institutional buyer that backs them up. But like something like that, super hyper local, and they have that business model. Or I've seen virtual and nationwide. And the reason I haven't seen a good mix work is because the more like the more you're local, the higher your lead cost is. Would you agree with that with Facebook too?
Overwhelmingly, dude. Overwhelmingly.
Okay.
I mean, everything like, yeah, if you're in one market to get like a lead, if you're in one metro area to get like a good lead that's going to close like 1 in 15, even on like Facebook, it's going to be 100.
Yeah, it's going to be more expensive, right? I know it is for PPC, direct mail, like any of those. Direct mail, maybe not so much, but like PPC, PPL,
super expensive right now.
Yeah, it is, and so you have, but you make up for that. When we ran our business in SoCal, we would make up for that. We would get $800 leads. We'd have a 50K average deal size, and so that's how we'd make up for it. Everything was in person. Our close rate was always in the 30s.
Generally, in multiple ways. Most people,
yeah.
If your deal size isn't 50,000 on a wholesale, you got to be able to flip. You got to be able to do
close rates in the 30s.
Yep.
Yeah, fast close, dialed in title company that's ready to close fast. And then the other model is complete nationwide, and you win with that model. You're virtual, but you can pivot markets really fast. So you're like, oh, this market sucks. Let me just pivot to these markets. That's one advantage. Two, your overall lead costs are lower. And so your cost per contract is lower. So even though you have more fallout, you're still going to be able to make up for it. But I think the companies that are getting crushed right now are virtual in their market, which makes no sense. It's like, I live in SoCal and I'm going to go 100% virtual, but I'm not going to go to any appointments in person.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're competing with people that are paying the same cost per lead as you, but they're going in person. Yep. And so you have no advantage over them, where I can get SoCal leads right now for $100 because I'm targeting all of these other areas. So it brings my overall cost down. So I don't really need to compete with the guys that are in person, even though my sales team can. It's like, that I don't need to, because I'm getting leads so much cheaper than them.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that if you can't get that's basically the exact two clients that at least I see working the best. Is the people who are in the no man's land of like virtual one market. They usually can't close. They higher cost per lead. Yeah, but it's like, dude, like I have a client he's statewide in California, and they're nationwide, like top 100 like major cities kind of style. And their cost per lead's like $33 blended. Like
on Facebook?
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane. $33.
Yeah.
You can't lose. How do you lose with $33?
Like, that's crazy.
Because you could close 1 out of 100, and you'd be at a $3,000 cost per contract. And even if half of them fall out, you're at a 6K average deal size. You just need to rip 18K deals, and you literally can't lose.
Yep.
That's crazy. How did you get a $33 cost per lead? Or can you share that?
It's just pretty just using the it's actually just, I mean, I don't know what you want me to share.
It's AI, bro.
It's AI. They're actually on that account, no AI ads. There's a couple picture ads. That's another thing that's interesting too. Pictures versus videos. Pictures were $86 on average. Videos were $70-something. It's cheaper by 9% cheaper. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, because it's kind of the opposite, I feel like, in a lot of industries.
And you're not seeing anything change right now from an advertising perspective. Like, are you seeing some? Well, you're probably going to save this for your clients.
No,
I was going to say like ad angles, but what do you see? What are you seeing that's shifting right now in the market for Facebook?
I'd say the main thing is CPMs are going up. More people are doing it.
Why? Oh, is that why? Like, when more people do it, CPMs go up?
Yeah, it's interesting. So there's a couple strategies we're tinkering with right now and how to get CPMs down so we can like lower, because like our CPMs for last month were 89, which is pretty high. That's the CPM that we had across the board. I'd say like, but there's like two, I can tell what you can kind of tell based on like the CPM, like where obviously there's a certain amount of supply space, and then it's the demand. So it's fucking basic economics. Supply demand equals equilibrium price. So what's interesting is whenever we run campaigns that are like local campaigns, CPM's always like 40 to 60. We'll call it 50. And then if we run something that's national, it's usually like 100 to 120, which is interesting.
Is that because there's more people running national ads?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So it's
because there's
weird.
more people, so it wouldn't make sense. So it has to be just more demand.
It's more demand for that ad space, which I think is kind of crazy, actually. So what I'm trying to tinker with is like people who are national, basically running a bunch of campaigns that are local, to lower cost per lead or lower CPM and lower cost per lead. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We're running some tests, but
are you running like an actual agent?
If that would work, it would cut cost per lead down in half. So
are you doing this just for your level up students? Are you running an actual agency too?
We are doing it for some other people now. Yeah.
So you have an agency model now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, I think so. I accidentally stumbled across it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, we're running an ad agency.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we are. Yeah.
People need that, bro. Like people need, I feel like everyone needs an actual agency that will look at the campaigns, because the problem with the agency model is people like, they probably all start out well, but the big ones that we all know that we're not going to name, they end up getting to the point where it's copy and paste and have a VA, you know, maybe go in your campaign once a week and look at it, but that's about it. Yep. But what you're talking about is looking at all the ads, putting data and looking at the data through AI, putting all the spin into the best ones constantly, and you're getting a lot of leverage for it. So
yeah, you actually get a better result because of the hive mind effect, essentially.
Interesting. So the more people that spend, the more money, the better their ads will do.
Yeah, and like for example, like just like last month we tested we had $175,470 that were spent last month. So you know we're able to spend a good amount of money on ads and have a good sample size to test. So
I think it's hilarious that you're like, yeah, we spent 175,000. Like, you're running an agency? I'm like, yeah. Like, dude, you're spending more than most people that say they run an agency in a month, you know? But so, and then the more you spend, the more, how do people, I've never even talked to you about this. Where do people go to you? Like, how do people find you to get like ad services if they want to run Facebook ads?
Oh, it's a mystery, man. No, I'm just kidding. You can just go to my Instagram and DM me, or there's a link in the bio. You can book a call.
The worst advertiser for promoting their own. You're really good at running Facebook ads to sellers. And it's like, how do people find you? It's like, oh, well, you could DM me on Instagram.
Well, you can look up my website, leveluprei.io. There's a place that
you guys are switching that to where like you guys have a place there where it's like, okay, well, you're doing done with you and done for you, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm rebuilding the website right now fully. So AI is doing
I like it.
Yeah. So we're restructuring everything, but we're moving fully. We're not fully moving only to marketing for right now yet, but we're probably going to fully move to marketing. And then I'm working with a couple people actually who are two people right now, which I could talk to you about this. I know we had a brief combo to help them with their companies that service wholesalers too. And then I have one landscape company that we're working with as well. So
yeah,
like outside of the state, obviously, but
yeah, it's easier to transition into other markets when you're running an ad agency. It's like, okay, cool. We can running ads it's going to be applicable to basically any home service business.
Yeah, same process, just different ads. So,
well, let's wrap it up.
Let's do it.
We're an hour in, so you guys go out and crush it. We are back, except for next week I'm going to be back on, and then the week after I'll actually be in Mexico.
Oh yeah,
with my family. I'm gonna go down to Cancun and relax on the beach for a little bit.
Hell yeah. So I think next Friday I'll be in Aspen taking this call. So
look at us, man. Just a bunch of travelers. You guys go crush it. We'll see y'all next week. Bye, everybody. Stay on, by the way. I want to ask you